Hello, and welcome to Pest in Class, expert voices in pest management. Today, we welcome back Rian and Noelle Goins of Get Goins Pest Control. The Los Angeles based couple is here to talk all about baby proofing the business. After learning they were expecting, Ryan and Noelle prepared for their daughter's arrival by getting their company ready for a new phase of growth. This episode is packed with best practices for preparing your business for baby and beyond. I'm your host, Amanda Salvatore. Let's get into it. Ryan and Noelle Goins, you are the owners of Get Goins Pest Control here in Los Angeles, and we are happy to welcome you back to the show. Last time you were here, we had this great conversation about your business, your work in the community, social media presence. But today is extra special. I don't know if you're listening, you may hear a little extra guest who is joining us today, or if you're watching on YouTube, you know exactly what we're talking about. But how about you tell our listeners the good news?
We had a baby.
She's like, whoa.
Right.
You weren't prepared. Sorry.
So definitely very real. Baby Grace Nicole Goins is her name.
Oh,
Yes.
she's
And-
gorgeous. I'm
Yeah.
so excited for you
Girl.
both. And it is just, she is such a pleasure. And she has been sitting here truly for at least 25 minutes while we were figuring out all our tech stuff. And she was an angel. So I'm sure she has a lot of things that she also wants to let everyone know about the business and how life has been for the past 6 months. Grace, we always start Pest in Class with a little bit of an icebreaker. I'm sure you know this about your mom, but the last time she was on the show, Noelle, you had mentioned that you would do a songwriting class. So I wanted to know if you have any go-to original songs that you sing to Grace, or are we sticking with some classic lullabies here?
She's fast gas swipe.
Nice.
So-
Funny because a song that we made up specifically is just around changing her diaper.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna change your diaper. I'm gonna change your diaper. I'm gonna change your diaper. Oh, oh, oh. You stink it. You stink it. You stink it. You stink it. Oh, you stink it. You stink it. You oh, oh, oh.
Look at her face. She genuinely, I highly recommend watching this on YouTube today, guys. Just you know, to put down the phone, pick up the computer. And she is just, she loved that song. You could tell
Yeah.
she's a very happy person. I want to congratulate you. We're all so excited, and it's just such a joy to see you all so happy. I love it. I love it.
You do.
I know that we're here to, I could talk literally baby stuff all day, but we're here to talk about how you baby proofed your business. So when you found out you were expecting Grace, what were some of the first thoughts, other than we're over the moon and we're excited to be new parents? What were the first thoughts you had regarding the business? And did you have this initial game plan when you heard she was coming?
One of our first thoughts was contacting all of our customers that we had, because when you're entrepreneurs and you have to run everything, you have to make sure your customers know why you're not going to show up for 30 days or more. Initially, we let our customers know in advance. Obviously, all of them knew that we were pregnant with this wonderful daughter of ours, and they all expected, for us to take time off. And basically what we did was we either did all of our accounts ahead of time, or we pushed it later on, so we're able to accommodate that time that she was born in January.
Yeah,
my
and I'll
goodness.
say, we were pregnant when we interviewed with you in person and hadn't told anyone yet. So our first thought after having 2 previous miscarriages was, one, that we believed that she would be here like she is now. We didn't have a doubt that she would be here. And also just that we're building something now specifically for her. So that was my thought, was like, wow, we have a legacy that we can build and build generational wealth for her, starting with us.
Mhm.
So I was just excited to now have even more purpose for our little one that's coming, and setting things up for her to take over one day.
She's got a lot of opinions about that, actually. She's like, I'm great. I'm set for life. She's like, I'm good to go. I have to say, it must be such a joy to know that you have something like a business that you can pass on and have that generational wealth, that kind of that security for her. And also it inspires you to go above and beyond so that you can make this business successful. I want to go back to when you were talking to your customers. Was there any, how did you reach out to them? Was it a text? Was there something that you did that you felt worked better than maybe other ways of communication with them? How did you get that message across?
Well, first we did a video at a fumigation, and we used that song "Baby Turn Around and Let Me See Your Sexy Body Go Bum Bum Bum" by Marion, or when he was in the group. Anyway, we used that song to announce that we were pregnant. And so clients, I mean, we're still only 3 years in business, so most of the clients have our personal numbers. So we were able to send them text messages, send them the video to announce it. And yeah, we just kind of made it a fun thing so people could know that, hey, we got a little baby going. So if we have to raise the prices, you know,
Right. That definitely helped with that, you know.
Yeah.
We're joking, but just what she said, being able to share this news that you can't hide after a while. The customers that we've been able to have, that we have a good relationship with them. Some slightly more than others, give or take, but a good relationship nonetheless. We send them text message. We had personal phone calls on some. So we're a very kind of company that loves to have that customer service, that touch. So it was pretty seamless to let them know, you know, kind of how we're transitioning and things of that nature.
I have to say, out of all the people I've ever interviewed, you showcase your life. You have this social media presence that we've talked about before, and people really get to know you in a way that I'm sure when they heard this news, it felt personal to them as well. And this joy that they had for you guys, I'm sure that everyone got on board right away and was very understanding, which is incredible. So when it comes to setting up the business before Grace showed up, what were some of the systems that you put in place before she arrived to kind of prepare the business for when you both were unavailable or weren't here? I know you've communicated with your customers, but was there anything financially that you did to set yourselves up, or budgets?
At the time, we were living in a much smaller place. And so honestly, we were thinking, how can we get out of here before she gets here? As much as we wanted to hire somebody and like kind of set that up, you know, everything was kind of happening so fast because we were, you know, growing our business, and I'm pregnant in the middle of summer. We're getting close to the fall. It's like I'm getting bigger and bigger. Our place is getting more crowded with things. For those that don't know, we're growing our business from a studio apartment, which was totally lovely. I mean, in our first few years of marriage, we were like in close proximity all the time, doing everything together, working together. And there's no, hey, I'm going to go to this other room and take a second. No, we're in this place together all the time. And so being pregnant and just being a high risk pregnancy, I was considered all these things. So we were more focused, honestly, on making sure that she was going to come into a place at peace and not super high stressful or anything like that. So we started looking for a home. Even though we wanted to hire somebody, there was nobody there like, hey, I'm going to hire you. We're going to set these things up so that this person can come on board and Ryan can step out of the field. All we did was we started looking for a home, which this house is a miracle, by the way. That's a whole testimony in itself. And then it was, let's also move clients around so that you can actually be home for at least 3 weeks when she's born. So we literally just, our clients gave us so much grace to shift them in a way where they could still not miss their monthly appointment, but also give him the time to be at home with me. So literally that's all we were able to do in that time. Again, we weren't trying to get pregnant. So we didn't think like some people are like, hey, we want to get pregnant. It's time. It wasn't that. We literally thought maybe pregnancy wasn't going to happen. So that's what I'm saying. When she came, we were like, whoa. We weren't thinking like, oh man, we got to hurry up and get things in place for her to get here business-wise. But we did some responsible things, which allowed us to be in position to move into our first home.
When a baby is coming into your space, all of a sudden nesting is real. And it is, you want to be as calm as possible because the chaos is coming. So you want to make sure that your space, as well as like you're saying, your business is kind of everything is put into a specific place and ready to go, still being available for those services, but giving yourself the space and the time with your newborn child. That is the most precious time. So I'm glad that you were able to establish that so you can feel a little bit more at ease. I think that's great advice.
I wanted to add something too. You made me think about that. Here in California, you have a couple of different branches that you can operate in. And one is branch 3, which is wood destroying organisms. So we also developed continuing good relationship with our subcontractors. And so we also pursued that market as well, which is, it's a little different than routing because they're more project based.
Yeah.
But also those
Realtors, general contractors.
Where they're having dry rot or need a fumigation, those are more big ticket items. So we kind of also invested in that because we knew that that was a way to leverage more income in like a specified project. Or fumigations like 2 to 3 days, depending, added clean out. So we kind of pursued more than one area of just routing, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. Was there any other processes that you put in place, something similar to that you feel really set you guys up for when she arrived?
Charging for inspections. We didn't used to do that.
Yeah.
Because inspections can take like 2 to 3 hours sometimes. And you have to really inspect the whole house. So if they have a crawl space, attics. So charging for inspections brought in more income into our business model because a lot of companies don't, and they should, because you're valuable. And in our opinion, if you're going to do an inspection, if you don't get compensated for it, it's an unspoken bittersweet, like, man, I did all that work and you didn't go with my inspection. So it's better for you to charge for inspections and get Goins' opinion, so that at least if they choose not to go with you, you still are compensated for those 2 hours, that drive, all those things.
Yeah, because we would hear when we would do an inspection, the client say, wow, no one's ever taken the time to do that or to go there or to explain this or to explain that. And that's the fun of being an owner, is you dictate the time. We're not in a rush like some companies may have to be. Maybe it's, quantity over quality, but for us, it was always quality. So charging for inspections was just, hey, at least if I'm coming, I have the time. You're going to get what you paid for. I'm not in and out. It's just, you're going to get every bit of what you paid for, so you feel like it was a good investment for you, whether we find something or not, but at least you have the answer you were looking for.
Which has turned into great feedback, because sometimes people may not want to pay for an inspection, but if things turn out really good and their experience is good, we give them that white glove service.
Yeah.
They'll a lot of times tell their friends and family about it. So it always turns out for the good, which can build your business in a non-traditional routing way, because you need people to do business with you anyway. So if they trust you, that warm marketing could go a long way.
I love that you're providing such a quality service, and you're also allowing yourself to say, like, my time is valuable and I'm going to shift that. I know that there are probably people out there who own businesses who they probably would feel really nervous about making that shift and having that different ask. What you're doing is of quality and therefore worth compensation. That's
California is going that way. I mean, soon we will be not allowed to price quote over the phone, even for general pest control. So all of the calling and price shopping over the phone, we won't technically be allowed legally to do it, even with general pest control. I can't say, hey, ants are going to cost this. That they want us to go to inspections first to justify the work that we're doing. So we're kind of already understanding that, and we're prepared for it. So when it happens, we've been doing it and presenting the value of that.
Yeah, which is better for our industry.
I think it's better.
If you think about it, it's like it brings up the whole value of the industry as a whole, because sometimes pest control can be looked at in a certain light. But I think on the last interview, we said we want to make pest control sexy. And so that's what we got. That's what we Goins to do.
So in retrospect, what do you think is the most important system or process that you put in place to ensure that the business is running smoothly for the two of you? I know we kind of went over this a little bit, but is there any systems that you put in place that you really feel like this is something I would suggest to anyone who is about to welcome a new member to their family?
Yeah, I was going to say pricing. Getting your pricing established because as tariffs came and inflation came, and we experienced even more inflation from some of our manufacturers, which was understandable. And so just making sure that pricing is something that you do have to revisit more than you think, because things are forever changing. And when we get the news that something increased, now we have to make that adjustment. And so it's even hiring somebody, and investing in those things like, hey, get workers' comp so you have it. When you find somebody, you already have it. Those types of things, I would say pricing is the number one thing to just always revisit, because if everything else is being raised at any given moment, you got to be able to you got to feel comfortable about the value that you're bringing. Not so much, I'm raising your prices to cover what I got to pay. No, with an increased price comes added value. So we're not just increasing a price. We're like, what additional value may need to be brought because the season has changed or different things have changed. The infestations of things are more than usual. So just more added value, I would say.
And with that pricing, you want to be certain on those numbers. If everything is increasing and you're not pricing correctly, then you're not going to be profitable. We're in a for-profit business, so we have to obviously be profitable, but there's different expenses, even if you're, dealing with bringing on employees, whatever it may be. If your pricing has a good profit margin and you're solid, then with confidence, you can know even from your sweat equity, from your experience of how long a job takes or what it entails, then your proper pricing in play has been our system in place that has really been a benefit to us.
Sometimes you can be fearful of increasing a price because you don't want to lose people. But again, I'd rather be ahead of the curve than behind it. And also don't be afraid to lose a client when your value needs to be increased. Don't be afraid, because they will be replaced with someone who understands the value, and allow them to experience a different value, right? You get what you pay for, because they will. If you've been servicing them with the integrity and the excellence that you have, they will see a difference if they go with somebody else.
Before we owned Get Goins Pest Control, I knew what it was like to work for said company. The best way to put it is we can do one house and it would take about 3 houses to make the same profit, if you get my drift. So it was more, the pricing was equal to the value, so the quantity. But sometimes if you have a more value pricing, then you're going to get a more quality work ethic and result. So
from your technicians and everything. Sometimes you need more time.
I think people understand that if they're getting quality service and the price goes up, they understand that it's worth it. I'd rather have the best quality service that I can. And I think prices are kind of going up all over the place too. It's a pretty universal trend as well. And that's a really brave approach when you're a business owner, to really just say, I trust that you'll come along with us for this ride. I want to know a little bit about what was surprising when you were baby proofing your business. What did you think would be a challenge that wasn't, and what's a challenge that you didn't foresee?
A challenge that I didn't foresee, I'll say it this way, because my business partner can't really be in the field with me. So, our brand has been a lot of social media content, great work, right? We're licensed, so we're not just making videos to have fun with it. But obviously she's not in as much in the field with me. So our content kind of shifted a little bit. And so a lot of our marketing is done via social media. So that challenge was, okay, we have to have creative ways now to market, and kind of, it's something that is a little more difficult, but through the season of grace being, 6 months now, we just had to kind of think through different ways of letting people know that we're still rocking and rolling and creating content.
We didn't necessarily also foresee the summer being as slow as it was compared to last summer with business. Apparently, we've heard a lot from our colleagues that are in service industries. Like I was talking to one of our friends who is a painter. Like he paints houses. He has a painting company. And he was even saying it was kind of unusually slow for him. And we've heard from some of our peers at different companies in our state in particular, that it was for pest control, depending on what your niche is. It might have been kind of just not as busy as last summer. But to his point, in missing being in the field with him and being in crawl spaces with you and attics with you and showing up with you, just doing it a different way, because I'm still very much involved. I'm still, talking to clients. I'm still editing content. We also learned to pivot in other areas, like a show we started called Pest Talks with other owners that I'm sure we'll talk about later. That still allowed me to be very much involved in what's happening in the field for all of us in different places around the country. And that became a very cool way for me to still be feeling like I'm in the field with everyone when I'm not always able to be so, but also looking at her as, hey, you're my little colleague. Okay. You're on these calls with me. You're on these Zooms with me. You are not going to be afraid of bugs the way that I was. We got a mosquito bait station outside now. We got a rodent bait station. So, she's seeing mommy in work mode. And eventually, yeah, we can go do a termite inspection together. I can still do that. My eyes work. I don't gotta get in the attic. She can be with me and say, look, that's dry rot right there, baby. That's frass. We can still do those things, and we will. So yeah, I would say adjusting to those factors were very different for us.
The way we market.
Yeah, the way we like to market.
So was there a challenge that you were anticipating, you were a little anxious about, but it actually turned out to not be an issue at all?
Double backing on the same situation, like with her not being in the field, with the quality of the work, put it that way, would that still be able to be done at a high level because of 4 eyes are better than 2? And no, it hasn't lacked. I mean, I feel like I've been doing great. The clients,
I still get to tell them what to do. I just do it over the phone.
Right. Via FaceTime. The phone is looking somewhere else, like, oh, babe, I don't know what's going on with my service. But no, like I said, we put in our place a lot of branch 3 or more bigger projects in play. And we obviously are always building a route. Anything we sell, we want them to be a long-term client. It hasn't really changed the service. It's been a little more mundane is not the right word, but it's been a little more without my wife there. So it's been just kind of like,
you miss me.
Yeah, I do. Like we would have a lot of fun because she'd bring her laptop in.
Oh yeah, I have my virtual office.
Yeah.
So how has your definition of success changed for Goins Pest Control? I'd love to know what a good day looks like for you now.
Success immediately in like the first month that she was born was having Rian home with us, because we were able to make that work. When you own a company and you have a little one and you know that, okay, well, if you're not in the field or we're not in the field, then you're not making any money. You got to service people to make money. And taking that time that he did to be home and hopefully everyone being okay with it. And the fact that everyone, not a single person was like not understanding that or tripping on that felt like success to me. Like, thank you guys for giving us the grace to be home with grace. Like that to me was success. And if something came up that was, a big job, I would say, go inspect, babe. Like, I get it. If somebody is in emergency, like, it's okay. And feeling comfortable for him to go do that and him to go do it and come right back home to us. That was success right away for me.
And things tend to work out. And I've seen it kind of like, oh, snap, like, oh, me being a little more present really kind of had things, just manifest like they should. So that's what I would say to anybody from our point of view is if you put the first things first and you really put into perspective those who you're doing it for, the reason why you most likely got started, if you got started with your spouse, or kind of putting those things, or if you got started solo, like putting the first things back in perspective, which is family, people, stuff like that.
That's so beautiful. And I really appreciate that answer, because when it really boils down to it, it's about being with your family and creating that space. And because you took that you left, this net appeared, and it allows you to take that time to be with your family, as opposed to this idea of I gotta go, and I'll get to my family later. This will, like you said, it'll allow me to have this time later. What would be your advice to someone who they're a few years into their business, it's getting off the ground, and they're expecting a baby on the way? What's your main advice to them?
Well, I would say if you're the one who's expecting physically, you're the, in that position of being pregnant, definitely, listen to your body. There were a couple of other women that I knew that were pregnant that may be working for different companies. And so we were feeling similar morning sicknesses at times. And some women, I'd be like, whoa, how are you still in the office or doing what you're doing? Because, as you know, you're a mom. Some of those moments can be challenging, and to listen to your body and make sure that you communicate how you're feeling, because Brian's used to me being Superwoman. I mean, I'm strong. I was working out 5 days a week with him. I mean, I wasn't afraid to be in the spaces that we needed to be in. And, once you get pregnant, you're like, man, okay, I got to pause on that. Like, I can't get in the attic. I can't do that. And I never really napped a lot. I mean, I was always like Energizer Bunny. And then I would be just days, I'd be like, I got to lay down. He'd just be like, well, I'm not used to you taking a nap or being physically the weaker vessel more often than not. And so I would just say, if you're the person carrying, give yourself grace. That's why we named our daughter Grace, to be reminded that, hey, I need grace today. So I'm gonna lay down if I'm tired. And also, if I'm starving, I'm gonna eat. Okay, I'm gonna eat again and again. But that's what I would say if you're carrying. And I think you have a different perspective too, because if you're with the person expecting, there's also that preparation that, depending, if you're starting a business, or if you just started and it's your first baby, second baby, I mean, those factors matter. Twins versus one. I mean, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you segued into that. A lot of times, again, being an entrepreneur, your paternal or maternal leave is not different. Like, hey, you have to definitely communicate with your customers, but make sure that in retrospect and looking at back now, for the one not carrying, make sure that you have empathy for postpartum. I think a lot of times, and this is something I learned, like, so I'm literally, this is a real experience. She is Superwoman. It's these internal battles sometimes. And I'm just being honest. Hey, you can't get that done. Like, we need that, like, I didn't say that, right? But I was thinking it, and I didn't have the empathy for the real postpartum aspect of having a child, and that her body is realigning, and it takes a couple years. And we had a wonderful doula that really kind of gave us a lot of information. But for me, it took the Lord to really process my internal heart posture, and to realize, like, work is going to be fine. Obviously you have your plan in place, because you just, that it is what it is. In a partnership, because that's what we are, right? In business, not everybody has a partnership, but if you have like a partnership that's similar to our dynamic, for the one not carrying, you have to have empathy for postpartum, because it's real. And the better you're at that, the better energy you're going to get in any type of work that needs to get done. So that would be my advice to somebody.
That's good. That is great advice. Postpartum is a wild ride that I don't think anyone can prepare you for. And it's so different for every family.
Yeah.
So you don't really know, that, the technical things, and you read all the books, you watch all the, you listen to the podcast. You're as prepared as you possibly can going into this. And then it's its own thing. And it's a wild ride. Having grace for that, and having the space to allow for that incredible healing, getting to know your baby, navigating who this new human being is. It's just, there's so many elements to it. And then to also have to navigate the business as well. I'm so excited for you both. And Grace is so incredible and wonderful. And she's been a trooper hanging out with us this entire conversation. I would love to have you tell our listeners what you have goings on, if you will. I know you always have projects kind of in the burner. I'd love to hear what you're working on.
We do have quite a few things, but I would say for sure, like Pest Talks is something that's been a lot of fun to launch because it's something that the industry needed in addition to great shows like yours and Pest in Class and everything. We needed a camaraderie of pest control people. We talk every day, all the time. So it's fun to shape it the way that we did, almost like a vlog style reality show, kind of podcasty, but you get to watch us in action. And, you know, we've only done 4 episodes, but to see the topics that are coming and some of the things that we're developing, that project, super fun to launch because that just started from going to Pest World, meeting some people for the first time and wanting to stay in touch. And it turned into something more where, you know, we'll have a monthly Zoom and guest affiliates or manufacturers or distributors can come in and teach, or each of us can choose to present and teach. And it's not all business. It's not all 100% pest control. It's life. It's a real friendship. It's a real family. So that's something that nobody was expecting. And to just do it the way we're doing it and watching the reaction of our peers and then people who just never knew anything about pest control weren't interested. They're like, oh, wow, this is different.
Yeah. That the entertainment space is something that we love. It doesn't go away. You just find a way to collaborate things. Like I said, that's been really fun and seeing that develop. Our foundation, getting more beneficiaries, bringing on new strategic partners to really help people in our industry. So that's been really fun. So that's kind of hitting some new strides.
Because we helped a veteran. We helped another family. We helped 2 more families since we talked. They were big jobs.
Big jobs and just like getting that process more streamlined because this is a brand new nonprofit that I don't know what else has been out there, but I know with us in our space, it's something that's unique.
We have a board of directors. You know, we are a 501c3, so now we have a real board of directors. We're prepping for our first fundraising event. We're partnering with, like you said, strategic partnerships to have recurring donations. So we always have money readily available when people reach out to us, and working with pest control companies that are outside of California, having those be go-to pest control companies that are already partnered with our foundation. So when those people are looking for help in their zip code, that pest control company comes up as a partner of the Keep It Goins Foundation. So they already know, that company knows when you're going to inspect this person, it's a Keep It Goins inspection. So they're already in need and there's an intake form they've already filled out. So they know, you already know that they qualify. So it's a different set of eyes. It's a different circumstance in that regard. So, and we're not the pest control company doing it. It's like these other pest control companies in other states that we get to develop relationships with. It's awesome.
Goins is expanding its family outreach, not just Grace, but we are hiring.
Yes, we're hiring.
So that's awesome.
If you're listening and you know, field rep branch 2-3 sales. We hiring sales, y'all.
And then we before we had pest control, we have the Goins, which is this shirt right here.
Yes.
It's our production company. It actually produces Pest Talks and just producing some other projects from the entertainment space and kind of a different vantage point. So those things are still kind of tight-lipped, but within the coming months.
Yeah, you might see something from her. Maybe there's a Grace. Maybe are you about to be a business owner? Maybe, I don't know.
Something.
She's ready. She's ready.
You'll have us back on.
I'm looking forward to it. I have to say, you guys are incredible community builders, and I love watching you expand your reach. I'm so wildly impressed with all of the things that you do, and you just have boundless energy. I don't know if you probably feel that way right now, but it's really incredible to watch. And I just want to say once again, thank you for coming on to Pest in Class. It was wonderful to have both of you on, and Grace. Thank you so much.
I mean, is that your way of saying, wait a minute, excuse me, is that your way of saying bye? Like, you were cool this whole time. You're like, give me my purse. Wait a minute.
She's like, I want the money in.
Right. Hey.
Thank you so much once again, and for a great conversation.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate it.